Good evening. If you already on, I thank you. This is our little pre-show portion where we get our technology in order, get our phone
You've got
line,
to move your mic 4 fingers away.
get our phone line. That's good. Get our phone line. Yeah, that's four. You got me?
Okay, that's good.
Okay, yeah, get out. See, like the little. This is live, man. This is not, this ain't tape delay. There's no 7 second delay. We can clean it up. There's none of that, man. This is live as you're gonna get it on radio, TV, podcast, you name it. So at 7:30 we usually get the show off fully, but at this time we get to setting up, I always get to drop a word or two to the peoples. Especially those who come early, cause yeah, okay, okay. I just got the call from the town, from the crew that they're not gonna be in tonight. Previously indisposed, allergy season, which is part of the issue. But so we got we got some stuff to talk about, man. And it's not just what's going on here in the city, in the state, in the nation. Even this is like worldwide. I'm getting these texts from the people. I guess they showing me. Tonight I got some breaking news, man. Normally I would not necessarily shoot from the hip, but I would have, some prepared information and stuff. But today, man, we gonna shoot from the text, man. That there's something going on brewing, and of course they're not gonna tell you about it because they never gonna tell you. Hey, yeah. Already on. Just letting them know. Already on. This is pre-show. We just try to get things ready before 7:30, and I know some of y'all, got things to do. Just getting in from work, just getting up, just getting ready to go out to work, just getting ready to get your life moving in another direction, and that's why we do this on the Transformative Tuesdays. We highlight each other and try to, create a sense of community. And, that's the only thing that's going to help us now, man. Community. Got a minute or so before we kick it off officially. I like to wait till 7:30 so that, like I said, it's on the flyer. And we usually go 7:30, 8:30 so that people had the opportunity to, really. I know it's a big night for us sports fans in New York, just so you know. I got the game on tape. It's the Knicks and the Cavaliers for these conference finals. Now, I know that we talk a lot of stuff here, and, sports ain't usually one of them. Not that it ain't significant, because we're going to talk about that at some point, but, you got to have some levity to this struggle, too. You have to find some things that you can find relaxation, pleasure, diversion. So this is so much, diversion or whatever, because, if you stay down, 10 toes down, 24/7, 365 in the quarter, man, unless you're a certified ballerina, and even if you are a master ballerina, man, something ain't gonna stand for long. So you have to get on your toes, but every once in a while you gotta put your feet back on the ground, feel the full surface, and you know, let your body feel your natural posture. And so, in my little world, one of the things that I think, although I'm beginning less and less to believe it's not rigged, and the reality show is at least sports where there's some drama. Uh-oh. Now, y'all see this live. This is the pre-show. This man rolled out now all I need is a malt liquor or, you can't drink on the air, but he got the regular size. Listen, I'm telling you, this is how bad the economy is. A couple of months ago, I came in here and I got the apple-sized grapes. The economy's so bad, we back to the regular-sized grapes. He's still delicious. I hate to eat on the air, but I ran from the concert here and early today. I had to run around and do some things. So I'm a little slow. I didn't have nothing. I didn't have anything to. I didn't have nothing. Double negative. I didn't have anything to eat. I got this little, I don't know, nuts. He got nut fruit. This is a healthy. Okay. I'm so sorry, but I don't mean to be disrespectful. You're not supposed to talk when you're eating or have your mouth open. I'm doing both. And so, yeah. I'm gonna talk about the state of emergency we in now. And what time we got there, Big Rich? Oh, 7:27.
Yep.
This is your 2-minute, 3-minute warning. If you want to go and grab something, or you want to mute it while you hear so you don't hear me chewing in the background. Cause I'm eating till 7:30 when I gotta officially take this off. So I don't know. Everybody outside of it, they ain't watching your show on TV and too. But I bet I'll be watching that game tonight. We might have to turn this into an eating show, Rich. Just bring out delicacies and bring out delicacies and I eat. If they got God got a show like that with him, God, somebody, right? He eat for on air, tell you how good it is. Listen, it's 7:29, so we got a minute before we cook off. Let me chew this real quick and be ready to holler at you. Call lines is open. We got the feed. We accepted. What's going on? We ready?
I am ready.
Okay.
Here we go. I'm resetting the timer, and when it says on the air, you're on the air. Okay?
So all the things that accepted us and everything already?
Yep.
Wow, this is new. You got a new. All right, let's go. Whenever the timer says,
Okay, watch the timer.
Got you.
Every time I speak, I want the truth to come out. You know what I'm saying? Every time I speak, I want to shiver. You know, I don't want them to be like, they know what I'm going to say because it's polite. They know what I'm going to say. And even if I get in trouble, you know what I'm saying? That what we're supposed to do? I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world. But I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us. We might not be the ones, but let's not be selfish, and because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about how we should change it. I don't know how to change it, but I know if I keep talking about how dirty it is out here, somebody going to clean it up.
What you say, Tupac?
Every time I speak, I want the truth to come out. You know what I'm saying? Every time I speak, I want to shiver. You know, I don't want them to be like, they know what I'm going to say because it's polite. They know what I'm going to say. And even if I get in trouble, you know what I'm saying? That what we're supposed to do? I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us. We might not be the ones, but let's not be selfish, and because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about how we should change it. I don't know how to change it, but I know if I keep talking about how dirty it is out here, somebody going to clean it up.
Hey, y'all, good evening. We're back, and this is the Wright Report, edutainment for the community, here from the home of the future. with my man on the ones and twos, the proprietor, the director. Man got more hats than a Jamaican, and his name is Richard Wicker. Here we are at the home of the future, Think Twice Radio. Because you know, when you think twice, you always think right. And when you think right, you should be thinking the right report. Edutainment for the community. That was our opening segment, and that was from Tupac. And what he said is just, I would like to break it down one day, almost verse by verse, but that is what we do here, man. We, even if you get mad, we gonna say it. I may not be the one. I'm probably not gonna be the one, especially at this ripe old age, to change the world. But maybe something that's said, maybe not even by me, maybe by a caller or by somebody, typing in, something will be said that changes, because change is necessary, and we know change is gonna come. That Tupac segment is really meaningful to me because it talks about us speaking up, saying up, standing up, and it's not enough of that going on right now, unfortunately. Too many co-opted, compromised, controlled, or complicit collaborators, gatekeepers in the sense, but ain't nothing gonna stop us. I'm not worried about that. But it's just a sad testimony that we don't have the warriors and the revolutionaries to stand up like we supposed to. So in their stead and in their gap, we gonna stand up here at Think Twice Radio. We gonna definitely stand up here on the Right Report. And we're going to talk about it, whether you be mad or not, whether you be glad or not, whether you be sad or not. Facts got to be had. Yes, indeed. So I don't know who's on. I'm not looking for, like I said, likes. I'm looking for some learning. And you may have, you may be the one to spark the brain that changes the world. But I got to really, I'm swaying in two directions tonight, man. We just had this 514 spectacle, and then yesterday was 518, a day that my life was deeply impacted when being almost murdered, a la Robert Brooks at Wendy, and then come to find out the UN just passed a resolution, not unanimous, but with a nice vote. And I'm gonna give you all the stats in a minute. Passed a resolution, of which the United States does not assign it. I just want that to be resonate with you. All this freedom, justice, equality, all that stuff that this country is supposed to stand for. Every time it's called on the table to show that. That's the hypocrisy. My granddaughter asked me today, what's a hypocrite, Papa? I said, people can change their mind, have different opinions, but a hypocrite is somebody who says one thing and does another. She said, well, basically, don't everybody say something and do something else. I said, no, a hypocrite is unique in one sense. And, I gave you an example, like, somebody who says, I don't like something. I don't like being around this atmosphere. Yet every time you see them, they're in that atmosphere. So what is it that they telling you? That they actually like it or don't like it? Because they're in the atmosphere all the time. But they're telling you and saying verbally that it's not something they like, not something they with. So which one of those are you going to believe? What they telling you or what they doing? I'm going to leave that up to you because that's an individual choice. But I can tell you what, if you're saying one thing and doing something else, and especially if it's the opposite of what you're saying, then you're a hypocrite. And I mean, it's labels, a title. I told everybody don't remain hypocritical, and some people, grow. Love is love, brother. What's up? Glad to see you chopped in, man. Yeah, like I said, I don't know who online, but I'm trying to show us something tonight that nobody want to talk about, man. Other than this farce of a memorial commemoration or whatever they want to call this, the 514 the other day, where we had a bunch of people who you only see on 514 where they get their chance to, good evening, Auntie, where they get their chance to come out and, do photo ops, come out and feign sympathy, empathy, or concern or whatever while everything's still going on. Let me tell y'all something. That massacre that happened on 514, 4 years ago, 22, the racist massacre by the racist coward was plotted out. This young man, they found this coward's, I guess you call it, manifesto, and in it was outlined. He did his research, and he looked into where he could kill the most concentrated number of black people in an area where he wouldn't be stopped, detected, and so he searched and he found out that Tops on Jefferson Avenue was the only store of that nature in that entire East Side neighborhood, so that all the black people who lived on the East Side, if they wanted the things, and it wasn't just a store, it's handled several different functions, bills, and it used to be checking. I hadn't been in it in a while, but it was a multifaceted establishment that the community thrived on and used daily. And not only did he come over and research it through, statistical and data, the coward came here and or for several days to case the joint. That's what we used to call it when we was doing the wrong thing. We casing the joint, find out what's going on, who's what, where, and how. This is all towards premeditation. So all this thing about why they got the death penalty, this is a contract killing, a contract serial killing, if you want, by a real definition. But I digress. So it comes up here. As a matter of fact, this story was told the other day, so it's not an exclusive, but it is, one of the gentlemen that, we rock together with the GYC, Govern Your Community Ministries. Tim Newkirk was on the news, and he talked about how when he ran over there that day, not nobody knowing really what's going on, hearing a bunch of noise, not knowing if it was real shots, whatever, and he saw this guy, he mistook him immediately for somebody that might have been with law enforcement because he was the garb he had on, the military gear, tactical gear. But then he saw the police grab him. But that be that as it may, he was there. He said that the man was there the night before, asking questions that his family member told him. I told you stop basically harassing the customers to get out of here, So he's asking questions, trying to research his research. Oh, what am I saying all this for? Because all of this gets to the point that he knew there was only one store. He knew that all of us would be in there. He knew he could get mass casualties in there, and he went there with that intent in mind. Those 10 courageous, brave, God-fearing, God-loving, community-minded, good people died because there was only one store that this man could get mass damage. To this day, while they're commemorating, memorializing, celebrating, and planning, no store has been built. First of all, I was against the store. Oh, this is why I say it's a state of emergency. Look at this. I was against the store being open to begin with. Protests openly in front of it for days because it was sacred ground that our ancestors now died on. That they wanted to just reopen less than almost 2 months after this. While I was at an event the other day, and shout out to Dominique Calhoun and Calandra, and it was a couple of them there who were really, hatred. But hatred is learned. It is not something innate to us. So this is what we learn. This is what's being taught in this country. That's why people tell me they not racist. If you did 12 years of regular schooling in this country, and lived under what's going on now, you have racist tendencies without even knowing it, because that is the dynamic of the. That's the way. I don't want to go there because I got something to deal with that in a minute. I just want to finish up with this. I was devastated that we have made 514 a day. We have made 514 a rallying cry for people to get money and not use it for what it's supposed to be used for. That's why I was shouting out Dominic Calhoun. They had a symposium the other day where I was at and I spoke at, where they talked about the devastation trauma that's still going on. That those young men who were 9, 10, 11, 12 then are now teenagers who are getting in trouble. You got young kids like the young woman who came in there and couldn't even finish her speech because she was so racked with trauma and tears about her daughter who can't walk down Jefferson, who is afraid of everything and everybody, whose life has been indelibly impacted. And they think throwing out a few dollars and having some giveaways on the day is dignified in its memorialization of our people and the explanation for why this tragedy even happened. No new store. We had everybody in the world, from the president to the damn, only one that come over here was the Pope. And nobody demanded or made sure in the follow-up and the aftermath of such a what they consider tragedy and heartbrokenness did they even give another store. Because that's what it precipitated it. Everybody want to talk about everything else. Why did it happen? Because this young coward did his research and found out there was only one store. Today, if another coward do their research, there's still only one store. Since that time, there have been at least 2 reported incidents. 2 of guns being brandished inside that establishment that shouldn't be opening anyway. And where's all the security that shit? So that means even though nothing happened, the fact that they made it into the store and were brandished openly means it could have happened again. And those are the 2 reported that we know. And those weren't even highly reported or that they wanted us to know. So what we got? What did we get? We got some new streets? Who needs the elongation and the beautification of sidewalks when we got people whose benefits are being cut, whose Medicaid is being cut, who's suffering from gas prices, inflation, while their income ain't coming up no more, but everything else is. And you think that a free bag of food, you think that a ceremonial outpouring of support, do you think that any of that ameliorates the concern that we got the same damn problem that we started with? One store. And before y'all start talking about, oh, it's food desert, it ain't no food desert. Let me clear this up, and I will say this every time. We're talking about food apartheid. Because in no other community do they have only one store per square gazillion miles. No. Only on the east side. And they held us hostage to reopen that store, walking on the blood and guts of our ancestors, because if they didn't open that, we would have nothing. Rather than saying, we're going to shut this down, and right across the street where they do so much giving out of free stuff that they could have built a store. Where they build the store now, they said it was going to take 3 years. That's why they didn't build another store immediately. This is the 4th year. Ain't a brick been laid. And I've watched loft, buildings, stores, restaurants, all be built in the time that that's taken since now. Priorities, people, they don't give a damn about us. And if you don't start to, then hey, you might as well cancel Christmas. I'm telling you, because it ain't going to get no better. It's only going to get worse until we stand up and say what got to be said about what's going on. It is patently wrong for them to put on this big to-do about that massacre, and the condition that precipitated remains the same, unabated. That's like me telling you how much I love you and slap you upside your head till you see stars, real stars. It happened to me before. I ain't get slapped, but I know that cartoon thing. That's not all fake. You get hit hard enough or bumpy, you'll see bing, flashing lights. It is like stars. That's what they did. And there's a memorial that ain't been 3 years everywhere else in the world where this catastrophes of this magnitude have happened. It only take them 3-5 years to raise money and to put it together. Nowhere else. But nowhere else did they make the people open up the same establishment with some little paint and varnish on it and send them back in there on sacred ground neither. So I guess there's precedence abound here. Be that as it may, this is wrong, man. We did turn this tragedy into a photo op, a charitable giving day, and like a day of service to the community that 24 hours after it's over, it's back to business as usual. Now, I'm not knocking fixing the streets, but it is so convenient that they started that project and it's all in force right around the time that we coming up again on an anniversary, as if to say they've been doing something about the area. But again, it's people over property. It's people over pavement. It's nice to have nice streets, but you know what's even better? To have a good damn job. To have a good damn home or apartment to live in. To have a good damn amount of resources that you can access to take care of you and your family and contribute to your community. Those are more important than beautifying a street sign and a sidewalk. But hey, we're going to put $1 million into that, and still no real resources or aid comes to the community, or especially those who try. They look at people now who say they can't work, and it's like, you black, you can't, you just lazy. I don't know what. I know y'all need to stop talking that lazy stuff about black people, because nobody could have built this damn country to make you rich the way you are unless it was us, because you tried everybody else and they ain't have the guts, the gumption, or the intestinal fortitude to do it. So you can sit there and keep talking that lazy stuff, but you're talking nonsense, because we built this mother. Ain't no lazy people can do that. So let's cut that out off the grip. But let I digress. We done turned this time into a joke, like everything else that's about us now. You know, we man, people. We had grandmas and uncles and aunties and community activists and real good people. These wasn't your proverbial gang bangers, hustlers, street thugs, and dealers. When the most sacred and responsible and respected of our community can be in danger like that, then game's off for everybody. But it's going to persist because you know what? Right now, it's food apartheid. Now, let me tell you, this food desert. A desert. You know what a desert is? It is a naturally occurring ecological event. Something happens and it's not man-made. It's not controlled by man. It's controlled by the forces of nature. Drought. I don't know all of the scientific ways, but it is natural. What's going on here with food, especially on the east side and in Buffalo and in particular, it's apartheid. It is a construct. A bunch of bodies have orchestrated a situation where you only got one store, where you got all these corner stores that sell nothing but unhealthy food, especially to a population who should not be eating all those sweets, salts, fats, calories. Come on, man. This ain't about who owns the store, what the, because if they don't know it, you see them the same as us anyway. I'm not even saying that. I'm saying, but we don't have nothing fresh, fortifying. Why? Why wouldn't the governor, the mayor, the Indian chief, somebody say, hey, we're going to give y'all the biggest tax break in areas if we get 2 chains. I don't care what they are per se. I'm not saying just anybody, but I'm not looking for a specific name to come in and populate this community with your supermarket, groceries, fresh produce, and services. People would have jumped at the chance. That's why I said it's people over politics, people over pavements. We don't want streets done. We want lives rehabilitated, not sidewalks. Y'all always want to do the cosmetic stuff, the hard, deep dive stuff that is consequential, substantial, meaningful, important, helpful. That's the stuff you want to put on the back burner. But I'm here to tell you, like my man Tupac said, somebody gonna hear how dirty it is and gonna decide to clean it up. And what needs to be cleaned up is this farce of a commemorative service where all these people who don't show up until that time and that date and who leave afterwards with no connection and no follow-up or follow-through, that should be stopped. They can redo the dunk contest and the all-star game because it ain't getting the results they want. Let's redo this because it ain't getting what we need or what we want. How about that? Let's redo this idea of what 514 really means and start by ameliorating the concern that precipitated it, putting more grocers in the neighborhood. More grocers who will feed the public with healthy sustenance instead of junk and cigarettes and beer and coffee and lotto. I'm at my wit's end now. This is a state of emergency. They have taken everything sacred to us, even the sacred lives of 10 people gunned down and massacred by a racist coward, and turned it into a hallmark moment. There'll be cards next. Where were you on 514? Remember the 10, or it'll never happen again. It'll be commercialized next. As much as it's staged now, the next tell you profits over people. It'll be for sale next. Like they sold us a $500,000 arch, while every other town, Williamsville, Amherst, and them getting millions of dollars to get their entire communities redone. Excuse me. Where's the money? Now, this young woman, Dominique Calhoun, I ask that you look for the story. It's in the paper. It's online. I think Channel 2, Channel WGRZ, Channel 2 did the report on that meeting the other day in the Meriwether Library. It was supposed to be a rally in the street, but as many of you know who live here, it rained so bad, and we were fortunate. I wanted to shout out Meriwether Library, because usually you have to have something, in writing, approved, and all this beforehand. But we were able to transition from the torrential rain and storming of outside into the library. And even with that, we had a substantial crowd of very concerned community members who were not there for the pomp and circumstances, the dog and pony show of the couple of days before. They were there to discuss the issues that's still impacting them, still impacting the community, and still not resolved to any degree. Like the trauma that these kids are having, that the cases that these young people got. Did anybody look back and see if these young kids can have been impacted by all of that? The poverty that after that, Jefferson Avenue only started to look good now. Right after that, for 2 years after that, it looked worse than it has ever been. Oh man. We're not for making holidays out of hey y'all, what's up, man? We're not for making holidays out of tragedies, man. We're for making sure that tragedies don't repeat themselves. And what happened is, because he still only got one store, excuse me, it's bound to repeat itself. That's why they say those who don't learn from history repeat it, because if you don't learn that you got to do something else, then the same thing will happen again. And what we got right now is the same thing is going to happen again. God forbid it's going to be worse, or somebody else I know and care about. It won't be me, because I have pledged to never, ever, under any circumstances, set my foot in that store again. So, we're still not talking about where the money went. That young lady said that there's $91 million. I want you to listen to this. $91 million have been pledged and donated and granted out as a result of that whole tragedy. 91 million. Where the hell is 91 million? Because nobody that was in that auditorium, nobody I know, nobody I seen got a single penny of it. And these are people who are impacted in one way or another by it. As them people who had came to this symposium said, a woman said that she been sent to service. They said, oh, you can get services. They gave a whole list of things. This is a service you can get. Every place she went to get those services, she was denied the services, even though they were supposed to be allocated because of the money that was given to several agencies to do the type of services and follow-up that the money was pledged for. So that means some of these own community groups, all of these community groups who we think is on our side was siphoning that money and redirecting it because it didn't go to the people who needed it, who deserved it, and who it was for. It did not. 91 million. The young lady, they're filing a lawsuit to ask for an accounting because they know, and I know without knowing, I know that $91 million was not spent in the community the way it was supposed to have been spent, the way it was allocated. Where's the money? Tell you, man, profits over people, pavement and sidewalks over people, politics, partisan politics over people. When the hell is going to be people first? Huh? When is it going to be people first? People over everything. I don't know, but if we don't make it be people over everything, you can see where they going. It ain't going. My family's chimed in here, man. Yo, man, good to see y'all on here. Like I said, we don't do this for likes and hits and all that, but it's good when the family supports you and when they can see you in another light, man. Because we all got our skeletons, and when they saw that, I'd like to say thank you, God, for blessing me with the opportunity for them to see the other side of the coin, per se. So bless y'all for tuning in. Like I said, on a beautiful Tuesday evening with the sun high in the sky, you could be anywhere else but in the studio with me. And for choosing that, family or foe, I am. That's right. I know you family, but Yusuf, don't try, man. Just because you useless don't mean you not Yusuf, part of the family. Just remember that. But yeah, I'm heated. I'm frustrated. I'm disappointed because, again, they have minimalized, commercialized, reality, TVized our pain, suffering, and trauma, man. And with no recompense. It's not like they doing that and making sure our needs are being met. It's kids who can't even live normally anymore, and they get no services. Or they send somebody that don't look like them. When you're gonna get it? When you're gonna get it? That sometimes it is more than appropriate. It is apropos to have somebody talking to somebody that look like them, that understand them, that may have been where they've been or know where they're coming from. And that's why they can get the results. That's why the message can resonate. But that's not what you want. You want to continue talking to them and tell lies. That's the problem. You don't want the truth. And the truth of the matter is that young lady and that lawsuit is going to show a bunch of people that show you why all skin folk ain't kinfolk. Because some of our own people took that money and redirected it. And it's high time we hold them accountable just like we hold everybody else accountable. Because they're the real problem. Because them the ones that hurt us the most. Because they sit in our circumference like family and rob us like the feds. We got to get something for them too. So I'm putting everybody on notice. Again, either part of the problem or you part of the solution. Ain't no middle ground. One or the other. I'm going to come back to that because when Tim and Dal on, the native Buffalonians, good brothers, getting together this govern your community, your own community thing, GYC Ministries. Shout out. We got to start governing our own, man. We got to show who we are because we can't keep assimilating with other people because obviously it's not working. We ain't them. They not like us. Hit it. I wish I had that on the track right now. That would have been a great segue to hit him with the Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, they not like us, man. And so we need to be more like ourselves and stop the foolishness. But I do got some breaking news. This wasn't on the agenda to talk about. Initially, I'll have some more about 514. Something about 518, which I'll briefly talk about. At 518, 1990, I was assaulted in Wendy Correction Facility, a la Robert Brooks, while shackled and handcuffed and beaten. And I would show you scars in my head, but, my do ain't all that tight today, so I'm going to keep the hat on. But, I got getaway marks in my head. I was stitched up without anesthesia or any. It's a story that I'm going to tell one day, but that trauma revisits me a couple of days before, and at least up to the day, and now a day or two afterwards. Because as things have progressed in the corrections as badly, I realized even more how close I came to not being here, to being another statistic, another death by a system that does not but kill us with impunity, but holds us responsible for death at our own hands. Hypocrisy in the first degree. So I've been a little discombobulated myself, and I'm not ashamed to say that. I've been impacted by that, like I said, as the days lead up to 518 and now 514 and 18, my life comes a little more veiled because the weight of all of that atrocity, the weight of all that hatred, the weight of all that murder and mayhem for no good reason is disturbing. As a human being, it is unhuman, inhumane. And we still do it, and sometimes with impunity. But let me say something. So me and the brothers, we had a platform we was coming with anyway, and as God would have it, we had the platform in mind and what we wanted to do. But you make plans and God laughs because look what came out the other day on the 25th, which there was no reports about this. The United Nations filed a resolution, approved a resolution, not just filed, approved a resolution, detailing, let me read it. Yeah, I swear I don't have to. The UN General Assembly adopted a historic resolution declaring the transatlantic slave trade in enslaved Africans and racialized chattel slavery to be the greatest crime against humanity. Let me say that again. The transatlantic trade in enslaved Africans and racialized chattel slavery in the United States and other places are the greatest crimes against humanity. That ain't me. That's the report. On the 25th, they passed this resolution. And the resolution has some very important key details. But let me break down. Let me give you logistics on this. Here's the key details of the resolution. Now this resolution is spearheaded by Ghana, but it explicitly calls for reparations, and the prompt restitution of looted cultural artifacts. Things they've been trading and $1 million and gazillion dollars worth of artifacts and antiques and memorabilia of ours should be returned back to us. Now listen, the vote is passed on March 25th. As you say, you ain't hear about it till now. Which is May almost May 25th. Almost 2 months later. Which will actually coincide, March 25th, something I learned, coincides with International Day of Remembrance of Victims of Slavery, which I did not know. But they, like I said, they're not going to let us remember or memorialize or commemorate something unless it's on their terms and they can commercialize it and make it popularity over the people and profits. All right, I'm sorry. It garnered, this vote, it garnered 123 votes in favor, 3 against, and 52 abstentions. So let me say it again. They had a resolution. It went before the full UN General Assembly. It was voted on. The vote was about whether the transatlantic trading of enslaved Africans and the consequential chattel slavery that ensued was or was not the gravest crime against humanity, and that there are certain things that need to be done now in repairing that, right? There was 123 votes in favor, 3 against, and 52 abstentions. For those of y'all who don't want to run to the dictionary, abstention means those who refuse to lodge a vote. They abstained, did not enter a vote for yay or nay, which to me, in this case, is not a good thing. Now, some of them try to give reasons why, but I ain't buying it. You may have. So, who voted against it? Guess who? The old United States of America. Its war partner in Iran and elsewhere around the globe, Israel, and for some strange reason, Argentina. So, the 3 votes against, the 123 for, and the 52 abstentions was United States, Israel, and Argentina. So you might say, well, who abstained? Well, look at this. Usual suspects. Most of the European Union, and you know that's Germany, France, you know, all that EU, what I would say. The United Kingdom, cousins to it, and Canada abstained. So 52 countries abstained, Canada being one of them, who they might take any day now and put them in the same situation that they'll see. The United Kingdom, you know, the cousins to these guys here, and most of the European Union. All the places we want to go, Rome, Italy, and Paris, and Naples, and all the fly places we want to go to, spend our money on vacation. They ain't want to vote for us to be okay. Just for the record. So I just want y'all to think about that. United States and Israel voted against the resolution. Against. Didn't abstain. Voted against it. And there were only 3. Argentina is the 3rd. However, 123 others voted in favor. Now, here the court demands and the language, and this is why you'll see why some of them, like the United States, were not for this. Number one, reparations. What we've been hollering for the longest. Now I know this is a whole another segment, but I just want to lay out the 3-4 core demands of this resolution that was passed by more than half the world. Reparations. The resolution affirms that reparations are a concrete, necessary step towards addressing historical wrongs and systemic anti-black racism. Let me repeat that. The resolution affirms that reparations are a concrete, necessary step toward addressing historical wrongs and systemic anti-black racism. The United States don't want to pay no reparations. They are by far one of the richest, most resourceful countries in the world on the backs of chattel slavery and the transatlantic slave trade. They have benefited more than anybody in the world from the slave trade here and abroad. This country was built, financed, and maintained by the free labor of enslaved Africans and others, predominantly Africans, and in this case, those who are required to get reparations under this resolution. Here's the second tenet. Cultural restitution. It urges the unhindered return of monuments, artwork, documents, and museum pieces to their countries of origin without charge. That's going to be the problem because capitalists charge. You don't want it, you got to pay for it. That's what capitalists idea, but that's another story. It urges, and it doesn't demand, it urges. And that means it urges. Love is love, son. I don't know what happened, man, but I love you regardless, like a rock, and that's hard. And maybe one day we'll figure this thing out, but glad you on board right now. Because we trying to get some understanding about why they didn't promote this UN vote like they promote the UN vote to do other stuff, like they promote a whole bunch of other stuff on the news all day, every day that don't speak to us and our issues like this resolution does. Artwork, documents, museum pieces, all the stuff that are significant to us, all the stuff that we supposed to have as part of our cultural identity and understanding, and to pass on the information and everything. Get that back, man. And the third phrase is reconciliation. It emphasizes the importance of education, meaning black education, which is what this current administration and a couple of people throughout the world trying to either erase or ban or some other type of way curtail. It emphasizes that education. It emphasizes an official apology, not some lame, well, it wasn't us, I wasn't here, wasn't my ancestors, I never agreed with it, I wouldn't have done. We don't want to hear none of that. None of that. It should be an official apology because that was what's in the Constitution, written by slave owners, by the way, most of whom were slave owners, who dehumanized, raped, pillaged. Official apology. Not this backhanded, I'm sorry. Not this backhanded, well, it wasn't me. What are you, Shaggy now? It wasn't me. No. It was y'all. Because everything y'all say bad about us is all us, then this is all y'all too. So I don't know what the heck you're talking about. and and measures of rehabilitation and non-repetition. Now, this measures of rehabilitation. Our communities are decimated because we have never had the right to ownership of property that gives liquidity and allows you to have a level of credit and financial security. We've never been given that. Even when the GI Bill was afforded to those who served time, black military people were not allowed to have it in the same manner or at all. So we're talking about home ownership with liquidity and power behind it. We're talking about business ownership. We're talking about being able to reclaim those vacancies in our communities that we can reestablish the type of businesses that serve our needs and issues and concerns and likes. Finally, something where likes is important. What about allowing us to, like our ministry says, GYC, govern our own community? You let other communities have their own safety teams and volunteer fire and all over things, and our community have to rely on people who don't look like us, don't care about us, don't live around us, not for us, and so let us. You don't want to be around us. You don't want to do for us. We can do for ourselves. Let us govern our own community. We're starting a movement, the GYC Movement Ministry of Governing Our Own Communities, governing your own communities. Because with the amount of money that we spend, the amount of resources that we generate, the amount of ingenuity that we put into everything that has made everything already, we can do all right. And we damn sure can do bad all by ourselves. We don't need no help with nobody to do bad. We can do that by ourselves. But I again, man, the problem is we haven't coalesced as a community around any one thing. And we're asking now. My plea of my team and my people is become a part of GYC, man. Become someone who is responsible, capable, willing to govern your own community. So we don't have to worry about anybody else doing it for us or saying they doing it for us and doing something against us. How about that? It's time, man. It is time. It's the wise man learns from the fool is that you don't have to experience everything to know not to do some things. And we've experienced enough here to know not to put our trust in anybody but ourselves, and that ultimately we have the wherewithal to do anything that we need to do. We've done everything that's been done that needed to be done already. It's just as other people have benefited, controlled, manipulated, or whatever that don't have to be the case right now. We can do our own thing for us, by us. Get some FUBU into our lives for us, by us. And, some old school stuff. I know some of y'all don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But the idea is that, man, we all we got right now. That's old. I ain't even go there. But we all we got right now. So why don't we be all we can be for and to each other? Since we all we got. See, if we had some other choices, maybe you could act side or funny because you got another option. But we all we got now, so we can't. We all the family we need. We all the family we got. But we got to come together under some form of a unified banner because they don't respect us individually. And I understand the concept. Look, the same people we complain about how they get what they got, think about how they got it. Voting as a block, protesting as a block, moving in some way, shape, or form as a block to show not just numbers, to show commitment and to show that they ain't serious and we ain't playing. And we haven't done that in large numbers in so long for real causes for a while. And I know people, march and this and that. But you got to remember, some of this stuff we only got now because of those who marched then. And I ain't saying only march. I said part of an entire stratagem. Should that be one of the things that we find ourselves coalescing around at least one strong principle of standing? And if it can't be governing your own community, what you want it to be? Please, 'cause we're open for suggestions, though we're not thinking we're needing any. Tell me. So the brother came up with this, Pastor Newkirk. It used to be used euphemistically for something else, and those who from the area or know. But now, it is a ministry and a principle of us stop complaining about everything and everybody else and start obtaining everything for us in all of ours. Because we got it. Listen, we did prove every day that we're the best in the world at everything. Every time something comes up, right? So the best of us the best of everything is in all of us. And so all we have to do is put us together and extrapolate those best things in each of us, and game over. Case closed. But we still have to fight. The whole principle of divide and conquer, of what slavery and breaking people from homes and separating families and promoting that through welfare, promoting that through mass incarceration, that is a design to divide. Because in unity, there is the ultimate strength. And everybody, and anybody knows that. Yet we keep falling for the okie doke and dividing ourselves. So can we stand on this one principle of at least, if nothing else, we agree that we should be governing our own communities. We know what's best. You know what the saying is? Those closest to the problem are the closest to the solution. So if we're governing our own community, if we're having grandmas and aunties in the schools that in our communities where our kids go, you don't have all the absenteeism, all the suspensions, all the disciplinary problems, because they auntie and them ain't having it. Now Joe Schmo PhD gonna have a problem. And it ain't all about corporal punishment. Sometimes it's just the look, the tone, or the inherent respect. But y'all don't want to do that. Y'all want to keep paying people 6 figures who get no results instead of paying those who ultimately can get the results we all want and need. Govern our own community. You're worried about kids being out late, people be on the block selling this, that, the other. Well, if you allow us and we pull together on a platform of GYC governing our own community, we tell people, you don't do that here. Saying you can't do it, that's your choice. You can't do it here. Now, if we do that as a unified body, only a fool will continue to do it there or cause any problem thereafter. And we got some fools that you're going to have to deal with them too, but the price of leadership is that you got to lead some fools sometime and deal with that too. So either you want to be a leader or you want to be, maybe one of the fools. Who knows? I don't know, but that's a little off the beat path. But I'm saying the time is now. If not now, when? Let me ask you. If not us, who? If not now, when? If not us, who? Quick segue. Today, I would give honor to Erica, Thomas, Scott, Nick. It was a bunch of them that were in Albany today. And they decided to protest the what's going on in politics down there, where bills are not being passed or even voted on, where bills have been voted on and passed are being watered down, and some bills have been voted on, passed, and signed into law ain't being followed. Hit halt is one of them. But we think back to what we had no wins. We think we had all these wins. You thought your life itself is different? Okay. I hope so, man, because it's time. Time is now. That's right. He said it. God said that's the son there. Wayward son of that. But that's the prodigal one. And time is now. The time is now. It ain't no more time to wait. Again, like I said, I'm evaluating my relationships from this day, from a couple of days forward till I die, on whether you gonna be part of the problem or part of the solution to what's going on in our lives and our community. Because those who are not concerned with that, I am not concerned with them. Because that is a concern. Because I got grandchildren, hope to be great grandchildren, who are going to have to step in the gap when I'm not here. And they need to be able to step in the gap with knowing what time it is, with some support from a community that understands and loves them, and be able to know what to do, when to do it, and how to. And so we got to prepare the next generation of warriors, the next generation of thinkers, the next generation of leaders, and know that we not going to see it in our lifetime. I'm good with that. Because I've seen things that other people thought would never see in their lifetime. And they had to be good with that because they sacrificed knowing that they weren't going to see the mountaintop with me or with us. But they would get there. And that's the goal now. I'm going to get there. Question is, who going with me? Who taking that ride? I'm telling you, because who's taking that ride? Is it you? I have a piece I usually play at the end. I'll play a little earlier now because I want you to think about this. But Wright Report, man. Edutainment for the community. You know what we do. Here we go.
Hey. What is your deepest fear, young man? Go on.
Why you keep saying that? What's your deepest fear? What that mean?
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Sir, I just want to say thank you. You saved my life.
What's your deepest fear? Are you afraid to stand as a light in all this darkness? What's your deepest fear? Are you afraid to lead in a time when chaos and leadership are negligible? What's your greatest fear? Are you afraid to stand up for what you believe in and what you know is right in order to get along, in order to go along, to get along? What's your greatest fear? The light that's inside you or the darkness that tries to suppress it? What's your deepest fear? Mine is that I'll become, again, part of the problem instead of part of the solution. So I fight that fear daily by doing what I know and believe to be right. What are you doing? I don't know. But one of the ways to find out what you're doing or what you should do is